to me by the YouTube analytics. It was how to start a good conversation or how to have a good conversation. And the prompt said with a girl. That was the question that apparently people have been searching online. I'm not going to just make it gender specific. I'm going to broaden it. How to have a good conversation in general. One version is the dating app. The other version is in person. So the dating app, the three big tips for this one when it comes to having a good conversation on a dating app. One, do not open up with, hey, hello, how's it going? Skip that. We already matched. The match was the hey. The match was the hello. The match is how's it going? Once you got the match, you know for a fact that this person is interested in you. To open up that conversation with this person is to look at their bio and see what they have on their bio worth talking about. If you match with this person, now we already know this person's attractive, so we got that. But let's see what else we have here. If they have nothing but face pictures, but in their background, their face picture, they're either in a car or they're either, wearing a certain hat or hairstyle, or they have something in the background. Like, for example, if I take a face picture and on my shirt, matter of fact, my profile, so look at it, I have Baby Yoda on my shirt. If you want to open up a conversation with me, you'd be like, oh, Baby Yoda, do you know who the real name of Baby Yoda is? If you're a Star Wars fan, or you'd be like, hey, I recognize that character. That's Star Wars. I can open up with Star Wars. I'm a Star Wars fan. Or, hey, I've never seen Star Wars. Isn't that crazy? Like, there's different ways to open up that conversation with somebody. So the second thing is to look at something on their profile and relate to that. And then in their bio or what music they listen to, wherever the case would be, when it comes to that profile, the bio, go from there too. So you're looking at profile pictures. You're scanning the pictures, see what can you open up with. Somebody put that picture on there for some reason, where they thought they looked good, where they thought they, had something there. But let's say they had a profile where it was just all selfies and they all took in their apartment. Okay, so that's what we have to deal with. Now, look at the profile and you look at the bio and you see there's nothing in the bio but maybe location. Open up a conversation about the city you guys are from. Like, how do you like enjoying, like, for example, I live in Kansas City. So I'll be like, what do you think of Taylor Swift being in town? What do you think of certain locations in Kansas City? What's your favorite thing about Kansas City? Open up the conversation, and then don't ask closed-ended questions. Ask open-ended questions. Don't ask questions where, oh, what's your favorite color? Blue. Now you and the other person is just sitting there wondering where to go from here. Okay, blue, I can't do anything with that. Oh, my favorite color is green. Neat. Don't know where to go with that. But you open up a question on the bio and like, oh, you're on the beach. How often do you go to the beach? What's your favorite beach story? What's your favorite beach memory? You're just gonna open up a conversation and go from there. If you can get a good back and forth, then you can take the conversation off the dating apps and try to meet in person and go from there. Now, that's about 3 for the in-person or on a dating app. So don't open it with, hey, hello, what's up, whatever the case may be. Don't open it with basic openings. Go off the profile pictures first. Then next, go off the bio and open up a conversation from there and have a good back and forth. On the in-person, in real life situation, how I would talk to somebody, and matter of fact, this has happened before. I do this a lot, actually. I do it to more men than women because I'm usually just out if I go out to a bar, watch a game or something like that, and I'm sitting next to somebody and I see they're talking about the game, and then all of a sudden they talk about, let's say we're watching the Chiefs-Bills play. I'm sitting next to somebody and I'm like, man, this crazy with this game right here. Like, yeah, but I'm more of a, I'm like, yeah, my team not playing right now. And they say something like that, like, well, who's your team? Oh, I'm a Detroit Lions fan. Immediately, I'm a huge football fan. I can target that conversation and go off of, what they're saying. Detroit Lions fan. Okay, you had a really great season last year. What do you think of the NFC Championship game with the 49ers and Dan Campbell making a play going for 4th on 7 with Jared Goff as your quarterback? See, I can go into that conversation with somebody and thus from there open it up. And sports is a really easy topic for me and topic for most. Ladies, hear me out here. If you want to get a guy to talk and talk hours on end and have a good back and forth, get some sports knowledge. Wherever you're going to go watch, wherever sport you're going to the bar to watch or go to a friend's place and watch, learn about that sport. Just get caught up on what the things are, like who's playing, what two teams are playing, who's the main star on the team, what's their backstory. Get a little few things like that, and then when you talk to somebody and talk like, oh, okay, who's your team? Oh, my team is the Kansas City Chiefs. Oh, okay, Patrick Mahomes. What do you think of him? Oh, the dude's really good. Like, oh, what do you think of his wife, Brittany Mahomes? I don't really know much about her, but I think she's fine. Oh, okay, like you can have this conversation back and forth off a topic that person's into, and most settings, if you find two dudes who don't know anything about each other, but they talk about sports, you can have a full conversation on about that. And then, depending on your location too, you might, a guy who doesn't like sports, he probably won't be at a sports bar. Just saying, he might not be watching Buffalo Wild Wings or something like that. Be at Buffalo Wild Wings watching something. But let's say you go to an auto mechanic place, an auto show. You probably get a lot of car heads there, people who love cars and love like auto mechanics and stuff like that. And you can have a conversation about that. More than anything, when it comes to in person, it's around the surroundings. That's what you want to open up with. You guys at a sports bar, watching a baseball game. You can talk about the game on TV. If you guys at a concert, listen to a musician. You can talk about the musician and what's your favorite song and so forth and so on, and learn from there. Talk about the surroundings, because that night, when I was at that sports bar, and I ended up talking to the guy who ended up being a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, and we ended up having a conversation, and then his buddy from work was there, and his buddy from work was a Philadelphia Eagles fan. We all had a conversation about like, oh, the Chiefs, Steelers, Philadelphia Eagles, what do you think you guys are going to do this year, something like that. And then from there, one of the dudes bumped into a bunch of girls who sit next to us, and then they brought them into the conversation, and then I ended up talking to the girls, and we ended up having like a good back and forth, find out one of the girls going through a breakup. What am I talking about? And then from there, broke down like, okay, what happened? Tell me about it. Like, what? And she was breaking it down. I was like, man, like, that's crappy. That sucks. Like, you want some thoughts and some opinions on it from a stranger you don't know? Here, I'm ready to give it to you. Because her friends were trying to make her feel better, stuff like that. And she was like, yeah, this and this happened. I'm like, oh, that sucks. Hey, you out with your friends, having a good night. So, like, in person, the surroundings. Talk about the surroundings. Have a conversation about what's going on around. And then from there, you can break it down to different stuff. If you're like at a spot and you had nothing to really talk about, let's say, bump into somebody at a grocery store. Talk about what they're about to make, what food they're making. So in person, it'd be more talk about the surroundings and ask open-ended questions as well. But also don't just ask open-ended questions just to be spawned back. Ask open-ended questions to listen and engage and be present. Because when you do that, you're not only showing the person that you're talking to that you're interested in it and want to have an open conversation with them, they'll be more likely to engage back in with you as well. Now, will you bump into people who just don't want to be bothered, who just don't want to be talked to? Yes, you will. And if you have that conversation, you just say, hey, okay, hi, how's it going? Had that conversation, you open it up and they didn't respond back, keep it moving. There's no skin in the game to lose here. So, in person, definitely be open, have open-ended questions, definitely be present, definitely talk about the surroundings and have that good back and forth. I wouldn't ask any just closed-ended dry question. Can you try to figure out what the person's about and figure out what brought them to the same spot you are in, and from there let the conversation go. And if it's a date, hopefully if you met before, you already had a conversation, a moment to sit down and talk, and then on the date you're doing something where you're not just sitting down and doing dinner or eating on the first date, because dinner is cool, but the thing is, you want to do something where you guys be able to interact and engage with each other and you can see each other in different lights. For me, an activity is the best way to have a good first date, because not only you guys are having the opportunity to do stuff, to show yourself in a different light. Once you get done with the activity, if you guys want to go get something to eat afterwards, I can go get something to eat. And from there, you can talk about the conversation, what happened today and what the event was and all that different stuff. A few things here from NPR. They brought up with their article, and I will post in the conversation below, but some of the stuff they have in here is be present, They have go with the flow of the conversation. I'm going to read a quick blurb from that. It's easy to stop listening when you're planning what you're going to say next. Think of listening like a river. We dam it up all the time when we stop listening in order to think about what is the next thing we're going to say. As soon as those thoughts come into your brain, you need to let them go out of your brain and return back to the conversation. Be present again. Don't pontificate. Stop lecturing. It might make you feel good, but it only makes you feel good for a very short span of time. And it definitely doesn't make the other person feel good. Ask open-ended questions. Stay out the weeds. And what they mean by staying out the weeds is like if you're getting into many details, or you're getting into the details of something, it can be easily to lose focus of the big picture. Nobody cares exactly. Let me stop real quick. They said nobody cares about the exact date something happened or the last name of your great uncle's cousin. And then if you don't know something, just say that. So somebody asks a question and people are like, oh, well, I don't, like, just say, I don't know. That's actually, I've never done it before. Or I don't know that answer. Like, but we can find it, we can Google it. Matter of fact, I do that a lot of time when I talk about movies with friends and people I meet. I'm like, I don't know the actor in that movie, but this person looks familiar. And they pull this up. And then try not to repeat yourself and be brief. And lastly, listen. So this is from NPR on how to have a good conversation. But yeah, the details, sometimes we want to get into the details of little things like, oh, this certain so from this. If you're talking to somebody for the first time, the details, you really don't need to get into the details of it unless it affects the story somehow that you're talking about the moment you guys are in. If it doesn't, like, well, my great-great-granduncle, Jonathan Jr., like, why we don't need great-great-granduncle Jonathan Jr. just to say that, like, you've been to this movie before and you saw, you know, that actor Johnny Depp in Pirates of the Caribbean. All right. But yeah, those are some few things there when it comes to how to have a good conversation. It is definitely like on the dating apps, you want to definitely open up with something on their profile. If it's just pictures, something in the background of pictures, like they're like selfie beauty pics, something in the background of it. Bio, and don't open up with hey, hello. If you're talking to somebody in person and like you're just meeting them out somewhere for the first time, let's say you bumped into them at an event, talk about the event. Talk about things that are going around, maybe what they're going to do after the event, what they plan on doing before, like what they did before for the event led up to it. If it's at a sports bar or something like that, talk to them about sports. Most likely the person is going to be into sports or whatever the theme of the event or place you're at. Talk about that. Let's say you just left a comedy show and you bumped into somebody at the restaurant and you guys are sitting there waiting for your meal. Did you go to the comedy show? Oh yeah, I thought it was like, what did you think? Have an open conversation and ask open-ended questions. Ask questions and be engaged and be present. Don't just ask questions to get an answer. Ask questions because you want to know what's going on and what this person's about. And you can do this no matter what gender you're talking to practice that, because if you constantly open yourself up and have conversation with people in public, when it comes to meeting somebody that you find attractive, you'll be able to have that conversation with them and be able to just go with the flow, as NPR said, without that stress of them like, oh my gosh, I don't want to say the wrong thing. If you say the wrong thing to the right person and they're interested in you as well, they'll probably blow it off the first time. They're like, oh, okay, that was awkward, but all right, I'm still here. I'm still engaged. Let's see what it's about. So those are my tips on how to have a good conversation with somebody, not just a girl, but with any gender. Thank you for watching this episode of Nerdy Dating. I really appreciate it. If there's another episode you want to watch, you can look at it right there. If you want to subscribe to the page and watch more content, it's down here. Also, you have a question about dating you want to put in the comment section, go ahead and do it. Or you can send me your dating question to my email of alizakkanerdydating@gmail.com. That's alizakkanerdydating@gmail.com. And I will answer your question on the next episode of Nerdy Dating. Thank you so much for watching the show. I appreciate you and keep being awesome.